Okay, Lego Transformers Age of Extinction Evasion Mode Prime.
Ooh. Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Say here. Let's get right into it.
Wow.
Shout out to Rifti Beats for the Attack on Titan Trap remix. Can I get a goddamn, please? So I actually mistitled this guy in my community post because I thought this was Evasion Mode Prime version 2, but after looking back at my old pictures and videos, it turns out this is Evasion Mode Prime version 3 or 4, so give it up for Evasion Mode Prime version 3. Now, I honestly thought that Evasion Mode Prime's transformation would be 10 times easier than the 2007 Optimus Prime's transformation because this version of Prime's vehicle mode is so much smaller. There's no front nozzle of the truck, there's no extended back section that I have to deal with, so there's a lot less truck that has to actually transform. So I'm sitting there looking at the source material, downloading pictures of the action figure as a reference, and even studying the transformation like...
Piece of cake.
Bro, tell me how I'm coming up on hour 15 just running into problem after problem with the stability, like...
Oh my god!
You see, because the thing is, the size did not dictate the complexity of the build. So even though this Prime has a smaller vehicle mode, the complexity of the transformation is still at the same level as the 2007 version somehow. But you see, the thing was, because I did that 2007 version, I knew how to deal with that complexity now, so I was able to build some stabilizers within the transformation of Optimus Prime's legs to help him stand upright without the use of a stand. Swinging around to the back right here, as you can see, the back isn't too much to look at, but if we take a look at the back of his legs right here, this is actually the front portion of the truck. So just like with the 2007 version, I made the front half of the truck spin 360, transform down his legs, and sit on the back of them to prevent him from falling backwards. But you see, that wasn't enough, so I had to build in 3 other sets of stabilizers to help with the stability of his legs. So for the first one here, we have like an ankle stabilizer which flips out and increases the length of his foot to help prevent him from bending backwards at the ankle.
Nice.
And then if we take an even closer look, we'll see a pair of gray clip and hinge pieces which sit on the interior of the back of his calves. And these actually flip out in his robot mode and meet the 2x2 tile piece right here. Now at a first glance, this may seem completely insignificant, but due to the fact that that entire lower portion of the leg is attached via one single ball joint, this tiny little collision actually prevents that portion from buckling backwards. And then as for the last pair of stabilizers, which he's not even really using right now, it's just this pair of bent-in hinge brick pieces that you see here. So what happens is, depending on how he's angled, sometimes the back portion of his legs right here kind of just drops down because it's only attached by ball joints and clip pieces. So this inverted hinge brick piece here will actually catch it at the corner and stop it from falling all the way down and bringing Optimus Prime's body all the way backwards.
Wow.
Yeah, so you know, I mean, we got some elite tier level stuff here going on with these legs, not even gonna lie. Okay, swinging back around to the front here, as you can see, this is my first Optimus Prime that actually has all of his wheels in their correct movie accurate position.
Nani?
Now the wheels that end up on the lower portion of his legs, those are easy to get there, but the wheels that end up on the side of his hips here, yeah, I got those there completely by accident because due to the fact that I made the front portion of his truck rotate 360 and sit on the back of his legs, the wheels kind of just ended up there by default. But you know what? That's still advanced, bro. That's advanced by accident. Apologies. I had to claim the advanced title one more time for that because on the Lego Say channel, even the mistakes be advanced. Now, just on a side note, if you're interested in having me build your favorite Lego Transformers or Lego mechs and reviewing them on the channel here, consider becoming a Super Say. The membership link for that is in the description. Or if you too build Lego Transformers or Lego mechs and would like to share your work, you should definitely pop into my Lego Mech Facebook group. The link for that is in the description as well. Okay, now back to Prime here. Y'all already know we can't make an updated version of a build and not talk updates. So let's talk updates. Okay, so the V3 here is coming in at 10 inches tall from head to toe and took me a little over 25 hours to construct. Now, the previous version was completed in a fraction of that time, but that version was nowhere near as complex as this guy and couldn't even stand up by itself. On top of the stability being better, the wheels are now in the correct positions as I mentioned before, and just the proportions on this guy are way more accurate to the movie version of Evasion Mode Prime compared to that previous version. More specifically, just the way the chest starts to shrink after the windows into his ab section and waist here is very symbolic of that Bay vs. Evasion Mode Prime. Now that's actually a big deal, okay, because with that previous version, we didn't have any shrinking action going with that upper body there. No, we had some house action going on with that upper body, bruh. Oh, hell no! Some might even go as far as to say we had some Baba Yaga action going. But you know what? We're gonna put all of that in the past, okay? Because we fix all of those mistakes with this version and then some. We've got some enlarged and nicely detailed movie accurate legs and feet, smooth tiling and curved slopes in various locations on Prime's exterior to give him a more clean and realistic finish, angled sun visors and various lights which stick out of the upper portion of Prime's chest. And lastly, we got Prime's oil tanks in a way better looking position this time around, because with that previous one, they were kind of just sticking out the side and floating on top of his shoulders. Okay, now just on another side note before we get back into Prime's vehicle mode, if you guys are interested in seeing a full review of all of Prime's weaponry, including his Jetwing Prime mode, you can catch that in my Transformers Dark of the Moon Optimus Prime video. I'll leave the link to that bad boy at the end of this one. Okay, and now here we have Evasion Mode Prime back in his vehicle mode. Definitely not perfect, but I gotta say I'm loving the way this vehicle mode came out, especially all of those tiny little details that I put in there to make it look more realistic. For starters, we got the windshield wipers, the rear view mirrors, the sun visors like I mentioned before, and the lights going across the top right here. As for the lower portion of the vehicle mode here, we've got a nicely detailed grille section along with a very realistic looking bumper. Coming around to the side view of the vehicle mode here, as you can see, we've got a bunch of details on that portion as well. We got the windows built into it, the bars that the driver can hold on to as he's exiting the vehicle, and a little exhaust vent at the bottom portion of it by the wheel. Continuing down the side of the vehicle mode here, you can see it does start to get just a tiny bit kibbly looking because there's portions of his legs that kind of stick out and couldn't really be hidden so well. However, it's not the end of the world, all things considered. And lastly, swinging all the way around to the back here, we've got some nice chains hanging off the back of Prime's vehicle mode and the dual exhaust pipes. Now, contrary to popular belief, Bay vs. Evasion Prime actually has exhaust pipes only on one side of his vehicle mode. Oh, and before I forget, let me give you guys a quick top view, which isn't looking too shabby. I mean, we just have this little square right here to allow for Prime's head to pop out during his transformation. Now, the previous version's vehicle mode was actually about 20% cleaner than this version's. However, it fell flat in so many other areas, such as stability, transformational accuracy, poor overall proportioning. So I don't mind sacrificing that little bit of cleanliness for the benefit of all those other things. Now, I do have some instructions to some of my smaller non-transformable builds over on my Rebrickable page. So if you guys are interested in purchasing those, I'll leave the link to that in the description. And if you guys are interested in seeing a full review of this trailer right here, you can also catch that in that Transformers Dark of the Moon Optimus Prime review that I mentioned before.